As always, we have some announcements to kick us off, and I think Maddie is going to get that rolling.
Hi everyone. So an email was sent out about an hour ago to vote for SGA president and vice president. Please take 2 seconds to do that now if you can. And then also, if you want to join the Senate, the applications will go out on Monday, and then they'll be due April 18th on Friday. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Can I get the Bubbert slide up? Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ben, if you don't already know me, and we're part of SAC, and we have this giant event that we always have at the end of the year called Bubberts. It is a film festival that we have every year where students can make videos and send them in for submission for a chance to win all these prizes. So as you see, the first place, second place, third place, and we also have a People's Choice Award for that. It's a really big event that we have, and so if you have a comedic bone in your body and feel like making a hilarious or funny or scary video, please submit it. You can submit it at sac@bethelks.edu. Try to submit it by April 30th so we have time because the event is on May 8th, I believe. So yeah, just keep this event in mind and make some fantastic videos. Thank you.
Hi, can I get the Trans Day of Visibility slide up? So tonight, the Office of Culture and Belonging and the Pride Alliance Council are hosting an event to commemorate the Trans Day of Visibility, which is every March 31st. We're bringing in an incredible speaker whose documentary, actually, we just found out won an award today. This speaker is Logan Ward, and he is an illustrator, writer, trans man, and creator of the film Remarkable, Voices from the Trans Community. Logan created this film as part of his master's thesis at Emerson College to complete his degree in media design, which he completed in August 2024. He continued to film and edit for the following months after graduation, while he started his freelance illustration business. Logan's bachelor's degree in illustration from the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. This creative background is what motivated him to create the animations in the documentary, and then he attributes the research, writing, and interview skills he further developed to creating the film to his time at Emerson College. The film is greatly informed by this media design program, which taught students to take a community-centered approach to research and broadly design. Logan used this program as an opportunity to assess the needs of his own community, the transgender community, and created the film using the traditional methods so as to efficiently provide the resource of a film that explains participatory and community-centered methods in the context of trans rights. As of this year, Logan is the social media manager for Restorative Justice on the Rise and has been working alongside Alberto Caro to create illustrations for his ongoing initiatives. Logan released this film to YouTube in November 2024 and has since participated in 2 recording speaking engagements, which can be found on Spotify. His film is accompanied by a discussion space on his website, which anyone is welcome to engage at. This event will be tonight in the Manse Library Lounge at 6:30 p.m. There will be light refreshments, and it's going to be very exciting, so I hope you'll be there.
Can I get the 5 days of action slide? Woo! Thank you. So everyone, take out your phones, scan the QR code, and look at the information and the sign-up thing there. So I'm Peter Buller. I'm representing Bethel College Community for Justice and Peace, and this week is the lead up to the board of directors meetings, and they are kind of the big bosses of the college, essentially. And so because of that, because this is a big week of the college life, we are planning 5 days of action and protest to coincide with this week. We are protesting and taking action on how campus safety is being done right now on campus. That we are not safer with police patrols on campus. So this action will take all of us, every person who feels even a little bit opposed or wary of how safety is being handled right now. Every person who thinks that this might not affect them right now, but that this might set a bad precedent for transparency with the student body, for dealing with issues of safety by going to easy answers of violence, by not honoring the input of the community, and by making a significant portion of the campus feel more unsafe than safe. Administration often listens to money, unless the student body is united and unified on a particular issue that makes the priority set differently. So we need everyone to scan this QR code, sign up for a time, and this can be 30 minutes of your time once of the 5 days. Signing up allows us to have extended actions that take place over several hours instead of everyone having to be there for the whole time. So you can scan this QR code for more information as well, or go to our Instagram, BC_CJP, or from the email that will be sent out this afternoon as a reminder. These extended actions will allow us to show administration where the priority of safety should be. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Can I get there should be a handshake slide from employment experiences. Not that one. There should be another one. Okay. My name is Sheridan Weinberger. For those of you who don't know who I am, hello. I'm the career counselor and student success coach. It's a long title, but basically I help you with career-related stuff. I also help run the employment experiences program, so I have 3 things I want to talk to you about this morning, and I'll try to be very brief. The first one is submitting your timesheets in MyBC. Those are for your timesheets for March are due by April 5th. So please get those done and turned in so that then your supervisors can look them over and approve them. The second thing is applying for employment experiences jobs for next fall. We want you to be doing that in Handshake. Raise your hand if you attended my Handshake workshop in the fall. Hey guys. For those of you that have not attended a Handshake workshop, I will be having some throughout the month of April and potentially early May, depending on how many I need to do. So those workshops will be over things like your resume and your cover letter, your Handshake profile, and then like interview tips and basics and stuff like that to help set you up for success for getting your job for next fall. And those are my 3 things. Okay? Have a good day.
If everything goes to plan, one day you might be asked to come back to campus and be a distinguished young alumnus convo speaker. So it would be in your best interest to pay close attention to how this is done so that if you get asked in the future, you can recreate it. Also, I'll note, in order to become a young alumni, you need to graduate. In order to do that, you need to get all your convos in. So make sure that you have checked how many convos you have, and if we're missing some in our checker, let us know, because we want to make sure that everything's up to date. Please welcome to the stage our Director of Alumni, Brad Schmidt.
Thank you. Thanks, Trent. Good morning. Today is our annual Young Alumnus Awards Convocation. One impressive trait of Bethel's young alumni is how quickly after graduation they have a positive impact on the world. This award elevates one of those young alumni and highlights that positive impact. The Young Alumnus Award is based on character, achievement, service rendered, and honors and recognition received. The recipient must be 39 years of age or younger. At this time, I'll call on 2007 Bethel graduate and chair of the Alumni Association Awards Committee, Brad Coleman, to introduce this year's recipient and the person giving the citation honoring our award winner. Brad.
belated birthday, Jerrell. What a way to celebrate. This morning, Bethel College is pleased to recognize 2015 graduate Jerrell Williams for his commitment to social justice and his service and leadership in the Mennonite Church. On behalf of the awards committee, I would like to share that we were very impressed by your ability to continually live out the values and the vision of Bethel College. Your focus on increasing and creating shalom and human flourishing in a world that desperately needs it should be commended and celebrated. Your ability to communicate and live out a vision of peace and justice is a blessing to our community and the greater Mennonite denomination. You are a shining example of what it means to be a Bethel College Thresher. Congratulations. And now I would like to invite Dale Schrog to come up to read the citation for Jerrell.
Good morning. Jerrell Williams came to Bethel College in 2010 from the greater Dallas, Texas area with two goals in mind. He wanted to play football and he wanted to train to be a pastor. Jerrell had been very active in his Southern Baptist church at home, and I suspect he may not have been totally sure that attending a Mennonite college was the right decision. After all, like many Bethel students, Jerrell knew relatively little about Mennonites. I met Jerrell Williams in the very first week of his time at Bethel. Bethel's football coach had suggested that I, as interim campus pastor, arrange for some sort of voluntary worship experience that first Sunday for football players. A small group gathered at the Agape House. I only remember clearly one of those football players, Jerrell Williams. I remember that he was the first one to arrive, always a good sign. More importantly, I remember Jerrell because he was much, much more vocal than most of the others in attendance. When he heard a word or concept that he didn't understand, he would ask for an explanation. I'll confess that some of his questions gave me pause. Was this young man really ready for college? Had his high school prepared him adequately for the academic rigors of college? I remember wondering if he would make it at Bethel. Would he even return for his sophomore year, to say nothing of persisting to graduation? At the same time, however, I was truly impressed that he was both sufficiently curious and sufficiently willing to show vulnerability to ask the questions. Indeed, it was a curiosity and openness that would ensure not just persistence in his college career at Bethel, but genuine and authentic success in that academic journey. Injuries cut short his football career, but when I went to Jerrell's senior Bible and Religion seminar presentation, I was absolutely blown away. The depth of analysis, the quality of the writing, his composure in presenting the paper bore little resemblance to that uncertain young man whom I had met 5 years earlier in the Agape House. This was a young man who had truly been educated. That education ensured his acceptance into the Master of Divinity program at Pittsburgh Theological Seminary, where he earned his degree in 2019. But Jerrell came away from this Presbyterian seminary with more than just a degree. he came away as a self-declared and convicted Mennonite. Like his academic pilgrimage, his transition from Southern Baptist to Mennonite was nurtured by the openness and curiosity that had made him an ideal student in the classroom. Curious and open enough to participate actively in religious life at Bethel, serving as a student chaplain, even when worship styles and theology differed somewhat from his own tradition. Curious and open enough to commit to a youth ministry internship at Bethel College Mennonite Church, to establish a relationship with a Mennonite girl from Gossel, Sierra Dirksen, who is now his partner in marriage, to serve as director of prison ministries for Offender Victim Ministries in Newton, a Mennonite-initiated and sponsored reconciliation service for criminal offenders and their victims. He currently serves on the OVM's board of directors. Served as a student assistant pastor at Pittsburgh Mennonite Church while at seminary, and visited and preached at Vietnamese, Congolese, and Indonesian Mennonite congregations while in seminary, gaining a much broader vision of the Mennonite church than that found only in South Central Kansas. And once he declared himself a Mennonite, Jerrell's rise to prominence in his new denomination, the Mennonite Church USA, has been absolutely remarkable, meteoric. He has pastored a Mennonite congregation in Salem, Oregon, and is now lead pastor at Shalom Mennonite Church here in Newton. He is a regular and much appreciated columnist for the Mennonite publication Anabaptist World. And finally, he has been selected to serve on the executive board of the Mennonite Church USA. For all of these reasons, and many more, I am convinced, I am truly convinced, that Jerrell Williams represents Bethel College at its absolute best. And I am pleased and honored to declare that Reverend Jerrell Williams, Bethel College class of 2015, is Bethel's outstanding young alumnus for 2025. Congratulations, Jerrell.
I now invite Jerrell, Brad, and Bethel College President John Gehring to join us on stage. Jerrell, the Bethel College Alumni Association is pleased to honor you with this year's Young Alumnus Award. Brad, will you please present the plaque?
The plaque reads, "The 2024 Young Alumnus Award is conferred upon Jerrell Williams for commitment to social justice, service, and leadership in the Mennonite Church." Congratulations.
Good morning. Good morning. I guess I have to talk now. So I just want to start with some honesty, because that's my policy. I've been a student before. I've been to convocation many times. I know you'd rather be sleeping. I've slept through many a convocation. And I hope that this is not that boring or that dull for you all. And so what I really want to talk about this morning is what Bethel taught me, about community and how I got here and why I stayed, even though I almost transferred. I want to give photo credit. This photo is actually from the Bethel College Women's Association, so thanks for letting me steal that. So, who is Jerrell? Currently the pastor of Shalom Mennonite Church here in Newton. A couple of my church members are here. Hello, friends. It's good to see y'all. I've been a pastor for about 5.5 years. I grew up in Garland, Texas, which is in North Texas, in the Dallas area. Graduated from Bethel College in 2015. Bible religion major, a minor in human services, which no longer exists as a minor, but it was basically, I treated it as a social work minor. I took a lot of social work classes with Ada Schmidt-Thiessen. And so then after my time at Bethel, went to seminary, or actually I was at Offender Victim Ministries as director of prison ministries, went to Pittsburgh for seminary, got married to my wife, Sierra Williams. Some of y'all may know her. And we have our daughter, Orly Williams, who just celebrated a birthday on February 28th. She is now 3. I also had a birthday recently. I am now 33, and I feel every bit of 60, because that's what football does to you. I have a focus on peace, justice, and advocacy work, a focus on community. I really care about how we build community together, because it is community that has brought me this far. So I do this in my church. And a lot of that comes from my time at Bethel College, through the classes, through conversations with classmates, and things like that. So that's a picture of my family. That's my daughter, Orly. She's adorable. She is also a headache, but I love her to death. So how did I get here? So that's a map from Garland to North Newton. So a brief overview of how I got here. I was in a Southern Baptist church tradition, played high school football. I was all right. But I didn't have any scholarship offers, and I really, really wanted to play football. Like, the only 2 things I really wanted to do was, one day I knew I wanted to be a pastor, and I also really wanted to play college football. I didn't care about the NFL, really, or anything like that. I really wanted to play college football. Well, I met a guy who was a Bethel alum in Garland, Texas, named Doug Kiefer. And Doug comes up to me. I'm working at this rec center in my church, and he comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, where are you going to go play college football?" I said, "Well, I didn't have any scholarship offers. I'm probably just going to go try to walk on somewhere." And he had this huge championship ring from 1984. And he waved it in my face and was like, "You want to win one of these?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And he says, "Well, you need to come to Bethel College and play football." So I give him my information. He calls the coaches at Bethel. The coaches come down, visit me and my family. My mom okayed it, and then I was going to go to Bethel. So I was off to Bethel. Didn't know what a Mennonite was. Didn't care what a Mennonite was. I just wanted to play football, and I wanted to make sure they had a Bible religion major. Now, I should tell you, when I got here in 2010, I thought there was potential for me to win one of those championship rings. Do not look up the record from 2010 to 2013. It will hurt your heart, or mine. So I get to Bethel, and I'm from the Dallas area. I'm from a bigger city. My graduating class was 550 students. And I get to Bethel in North Newton, Kansas, and I have to be 1,000% because I am a very honest person. It kind of sucked. And so I get here. We're in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. It was my first time around this many white folks. And so I was like, okay, this is wild. I wasn't really feeling the chapel services on Wednesdays because they're always sung in hymns. And I'm used to more contemporary style of music. Our football team was terrible. I got injured all the time. And it was just a horrible experience. I remember going home for Thanksgiving break and talking and having the greatest time back home, connecting with my high school friends, connecting with my family. And I said, I think I'm going to transfer. So I looked up other colleges in the area. I thought about going to different places to try to play. And I was going to transfer. I really thought about it. And then when my mom got sick, so mom had cancer, got sick with cancer. And she got sick, and I remember how the Bethel community wrapped around me and surrounded me. I remember my friends always checking in, asking questions. Some of them met my mom and would come home with me down in the area, the Dallas area. And I remember my professors and the staff, faculty would all surround me and check in with me, see how I was doing. And eventually, what happened is my mom died my junior year here at Bethel. And the amount of support that I had during that season of life, I was going through depression. I was broken. My mom was the most important person in my life at the time. And I remember flowers sent from the faculty and staff at Bethel. I remember my teammates taking my jersey out to the field during the Fall Fest game, because I missed Fall Fest that year. She died right before Fall Fest happened. And they took my jersey out on the field, and I was able to watch the stream and see my jersey on the field. I remember my wife, Sierra, supporting me, coming home to Texas with me to be with me and my family. That's why I finished my time at Bethel. And what makes Bethel such a unique place and such a unique community is that you are not just a number. You're not just a random student that happens to be here, but you are known. People know your name. You are seen. I remember having conversations with students and seeing people after I graduated from Bethel, seeing some of my colleagues when I was in seminary who graduated from bigger universities, OU, North Carolina, and having these huge classrooms. But what makes Bethel College so unique, the one unique thing about Bethel is the sense of community that is here. You can get a good education in a lot of places. You can play sports in a lot of places. You can do music. You can do theater. You can do all these things in a lot of places. But at Bethel, community becomes central. And so I want to share with you all about what community means. What I learned from Bethel on how to create community and be in community. So forming community takes buy-in. The community must be willing to buy into what is happening. Community is formed together, not by individuals. You do not have to try to box each other in. One of the great things about Bethel College is that you really can get involved in whatever you want. I had very little theater experience in high school, but yet joined an improv group when I got here to Bethel. I remember taking swing dancing classes, which sounds wild, but it was a good time. And those who made up the community decided how the community functioned and how it formed. I'm sure Bethel was very different in 2025 than it was in 2010, 2011, and so on. But that's because the community has changed. That's a good thing. Right? The community has changed, the community has shifted, and now you all get to decide what the community does, what the community looks like, how the community functions. So community takes buy-in. Diversity makes our community better. As new people are added, the community must adapt. Having a diverse community helps us to learn about ourselves and others. Dale has always quoted this, and he used to quote this in convocation when I was a student. He would say, we must hold our beliefs with an open hand and not a clenched fist. And I always carried this with me, I still carry it with me to this day, that part of being a part of community is allowing people to come in. And you may be holding this one belief, but then you let people shape it. inform it. And maybe that shifts and that changes and you adapt and you have an open mind and a more broader understanding of what community means. You have a broader understanding of what you believe. Right? If you want to stand 10 toes down on what you believe, have other people challenge it. We must be willing to learn from one another. You must be willing to learn from each other. You are the experts of your own experience. That is an expertise that you have. Many classes are designed for group conversations with our peers. This is why I love the small classrooms, because you get to talk to each other. Right? You get to debate each other, argue with each other. Sometimes show compassion and care for each other. The different places that we come from helps us to learn. When I got to Bethel, there were several students, a lot of us. How many of y'all from Texas? Any of y'all from Texas? Okay, all right. So we had all the Texas students, my homeboys from Houston, San Antonio, and then we're coming to small town Kansas. We have folks from New York. We have folks from California. We have a lot of students from California. My goodness. Dudes from Florida, right? But all of us coming together as a team, all of us coming together as friends. I learned so much from those guys, just on different parts of the world. I had never been to Florida. I had never been to California. I had never been to Kansas at the time. And so getting to learn from each other and different people. I listened to country music for the first time in the locker room. We used to listen to Ma Maria all the time. Y'all should look up that song. We used to listen to it every single day after practice. Got on my nerves a little bit, but anyway. So the mention of safety has come up a couple of times, and so community has to be safe for everyone. Safety has to be a priority. Physical safety, emotional safety, mental well-being, all are important. And everyone should have a say in what that safety looks like, right? Once again, on this community theme, if we are a community, we decide together what makes us safe. What makes you safe, feel safe, may not make me feel safe. How do we have a conversation about that and figure something out? And safety is a communal effort. Check in on each other, right? Make sure that everyone is okay. I remember I had a good friend of mine who, his freshman year, had a terrible year. Him and his girlfriend had broken up, and like he was just going through it. And I remember I was an RA at the time, and I was like, "Yo, man, I think you really need to see someone," because he was getting really depressed. And so he was like, "I'll go see someone if you're in the room with me." So me and him hop in the car, go to therapy together. I was there with him in the room. The therapist allowed that, and he got to talk. But it made him feel comfortable, and that's checking in on each other, right? I know y'all are young. I was young at the time, but it really does mean something when you check in on somebody. Maybe you haven't seen them in class in a while. Maybe you haven't talked to them in a while. Check in. Hey, how you doing? Hey, man, I noticed you've been missing in class. You need the notes, right? But safety takes a communal effort. It's not just on the administration. It's not just on the staff, but you all spend more time with each other than anyone else, right? So make sure you're checking in on each other, making sure that everyone is okay. Forming community begins at the top. So this note is for folks who are in administration, faculty, and staff. Y'all are essential to making community happen. Y'all are the ones who have to set the tone. I remember going to Patty Shelley, may she rest in peace, going to her home at the end of each semester for meals. We will have class at her home, and we'll give our final presentations in her home over a meal. I've been to some professors who have backyard barbecues to celebrate the end of a semester, right? This all fosters and builds community. I remember, like I mentioned earlier, the faculty and staff sending flowers, right, when my mom died. The student life office used to be a place where I hung out. In fact, the student life office is where I actually met my now mother-in-law, Patsy Dirksen, before I even met Sierra. So there's a funny story there. I'll tell y'all some other time. But they used to have a video game system. They used to have an Xbox down there. I would go down in between classes. I only had about 20, 30 minutes. Didn't feel like walking all the way to Howery. And so I would go down there, play the Xbox for a little bit, head to class, right? But it was a place to hang out. And we were invited, us as students, we were invited to be in that space together, to be in that space with others, with the faculty and staff. And they set that up. So no one will believe it unless it is modeled, right? So faculty and staff, y'all have to model community, right? You are also a part of the community. You have to model the behavior that you want to see. You do not have to separate yourselves from you. You don't have to grab your lunch and go eat in your office. You can eat with the students, right? You can be with the students. You can invite the students to talk with you, chat with you. Do not hide. Be present. Be available for students. I know y'all don't get paid enough, right? Like, let's just be honest. We ain't got to lie here. I know y'all don't get paid enough. This is a labor of love, right? If you are teaching at Bethel College, it's a labor of love. You love the students. You love the work. Let it be that. Let students feel that. Let students know. When students walk out of here, let them feel loved and cared for. Let them say that they had a great experience at Bethel College. Yeah, we didn't have all the top tier facilities. It wasn't a D1 program, blah, blah, blah. But I know that the person who taught me cared for me and cared about my future and what I was going to do in life. Remember that this is a special place. Yes, it can suck sometimes. There will be hard times here at Bethel. And this community is made better because you are in it. We are better because you are here. This is a special time in your lives. This is time dedicated to bettering yourselves. It is not only about education, but it is also about the bonds and friendships that you form. Folks here, those folks who are in your classrooms, those who are in your locker rooms, those who are in your music programs and all of that, they will be at your wedding, right? These are the folks who will be at your wedding. They will be at your special events, those special moments. Those will be the people you call when you have a hard time. Pay attention to that. The education is important. It's good to get a 3.0. It's good to get a 3.5, 4.0, whatever. But also make sure you're building community. Make sure you're being social. You don't have to have everything figured out. I changed majors like 3 or 4 times while I was here. I started off as Bible religion, and then I was like, oh, communication sounds fun, so then I switched there. And then I was like, oh, wait, social work sounds fun. And then they were going to be like, oh, for social work, you got to stay an extra year. So I was like, okay, Bible religion it is. And so I shifted majors so many times. But you don't have to have everything figured out. Like, I was so certain I was going to be a pastor, and I wound up being a pastor, but I opened my mind to other avenues as I explored, right? Take time to enjoy your learning. It's okay to take your time. I was a 5th year at Bethel, super senior. Took a victory lap. It was great. And I got to live off campus. Thanks be to God. All right. And finally, have fun. Make Bethel a fun. You have to make Bethel a fun place, right? You're in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. Let's be honest. Make Bethel fun. Make friends. Make memories. On some occasions, maybe get in some trouble, right? When I was a freshman at Bethel, I'm gonna tell this story. Lord have mercy. When I was a freshman at Bethel, me and some friends, y'all know Howery Hall, right? Yep, I lived there. Howery Hood is what we called it. So I was there, and me and my friends, we were on the sunroof. What's it called, the sun deck or whatever? So we're out there, and we're listening to music. And y'all know that song, Jump, Jump by Crisscross? So we're listening to it, and man, it make you jump, jump. So we're listening to that. And we see a friend, y'all know that glass door there? That's my door. I repaired that door. Because our freshman year, I saw a friend through the door, the glass door, and we're listening to the song, and I decided I didn't know how weak the door was or how strong I was. And so I broke the door. Like, I smashed into the door. Glass shattered everywhere. I then jumped off the sun deck onto that little ledge. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you know Howery. On that little ledge. And then I ran across that ledge, dodging the AC units that were sticking out. I'm still on the second floor. Get to the little stairwell, break the screen off, and then I have some friends who come through the stairwell and they open the window for me from the inside. I pop in through the window and I go hide in my friend's room. Now I will say I have one friend who snitched on me, and I'll never forgive her. But the RD wound up finding out about this, of course, finding out it was me. And she comes, her name was Caitlin Bergen, and she comes and she's like, Jerrell, her first words to me are, Jerrell, are you okay? And while, like, it was a goofy moment, the first words being, are you okay, meant so much to me. Because I was so terrified I was gonna get kicked out of school. I was so terrified I was gonna have to pay this huge fine. I wound up having to pay $75. I wish they would have let me etch my name in the door, though. After, I paid for it, kind of. But that's what community is, right? Are you okay? Checking in on you, right? We can get to the disciplinary things later, but first and foremost, are you okay? Have grace in this community, right? People are gonna do some dumb things. I did several times. And finally, get involved. If there's ever a swing dance in class, take it, right? Whatever goofy, weird thing that you're like, that's beneath me, do it, right? Have fun, make your own fun, make your own memories. I did improv, I did swing dance, I did all kinds of weird things, right? We played capture the flag on campus and people got injured because it was late at night, right? Like, you just do things, right? Get involved, do things, have a spirit of curiosity, a spirit of playfulness. You ain't gotta always be the cool kid. Let loose, have fun, be safe, but have fun. Roll on, Threshers.
Thanks, Jerrell. We've got some microphones that'll be going around. This would be a good opportunity to ask Jerrell for some of those behind-the-scenes stories. Maybe some stories that he didn't tell. All right, when you get one, Peter, I think Mindy's got a question here.
Hello. First of all, thank you for speaking today. I have two questions. One, what games did you play on the Xbox when you went down to the student life office? And second, how did you feel about prank culture on the campus when you were here?
Good questions, good questions. So the games were, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Mindy.
Mindy? Okay, hello, Mindy. The games were Enter the Matrix, which none of y'all probably know that game, but it was like, have y'all even seen The Matrix? Is that like, no, oh my goodness, that's bad. All right, everyone go watch The Matrix, all three of them. Only one is good though. I'll let you decide which one. So Enter the Matrix, and then they also had Madden, and so me and the guys would come down and we would be playing against each other in Madden. So those are the two I remember. I'm sure they had a couple more, but those are the two I really remember. And prank culture. So I am all for a good prank. I should say that you got to be careful about like what you're damaging, right? Right? I'm against damaging things. I'm against breaking things. But I think like sometimes pranks can be fun. It's part of being a kid, right? It's part of being in this environment. And there are some historic pranks at Bethel College. Like, I don't know if y'all have heard some of the stories, but I mean, there are some people whose cars wound up in the cafeteria. Yes, I kid you not. Cows wind up in the cafeteria, right? Like, there's just a lot of pranks that have happened in the history of Bethel College. I probably shouldn't say this in front of administration, being around, but I think it's cool as long as you're not damaging things, right? And that everyone laughs at the end, right? To me, that's the important part of a prank, is that we're all laughing at the end, and it's not just a joke on me, but it's a joke that we all can enjoy together. So, yeah, pranks is one of those things. Even at Shalom, at our church, we have some pranks. There's someone found some old puppets and decided to spread them around in my office. So I'm still finding these old, scary puppets around the church. So, prank culture is cool as long as we're all laughing, we're all having fun, and that things aren't getting destroyed and costing a lot of money or costing a lot of time with maintenance and things like that, because those are people too. And once again, this is a labor of love. So respect the folks who are also working here as well. Thank you very much.
And help clean up afterwards.
Yes, and help clean up. Yes, please.
I got a question. Looking through the Bethel College
What's your
record
name?
books, Josiah.
Josiah, what's up?
Bethel College football record books. I see your name here with the longest interception return at 100 yards.
Yeah.
Back in 2012 against Ottawa. So if you want to kind of talk through that whole experience as a football player,
Yeah,
love to hear about it.
Don't look at the score of that game, because we got destroyed. But it was actually my first game back from injury. I had a concussion, and I don't think I started that game. I was going to be the starter of that game, but I was out for 2 weeks, and I was like, let the other guy start. And so I wound up getting in the game, and yeah, it was a tip pass. I caught the ball. Now, I need to dispel something. Don't take me out the record books, though. Like, keep that 100 yards. It was closer to 98, if I'm honest. Like, I caught the ball, on the 2. But yeah, no, it was a fun game. Like I said, though, we got destroyed, so I'm here for individual accomplishments, I guess. But yeah, it was my first game back. I remember that was our last game of the season. Stands were actually packed, which was rare during that time of life of Bethel football. But stands were packed, and so it was really loud there, and it was a fun game to play in. And that was my last football play. I got hurt again in the spring football game, and I decided that my brain health was more important than football. I wasn't going pro, and so I wanted to be a pastor. Me and Sierra were thinking about marriage at the time, and I wanted to make sure that I was healthy to have a family. So, but yeah, that was good. No one better not ever break that record, though. Any football players in here, don't break it, please. Let me. That's what I got of my football accomplishments. Let me keep it. Let me keep something.
Drop it at the war. That was your
Last player. Yeah.
I just was curious, did you ever think, being a student sitting at convocation, I don't know if they did the Young Alumnus Award convocation when you were a student, but did you ever think that you would get the award? And then what would you say, to yourself as a student about getting said award?
Yeah. My friend, I didn't even think I was going to come back here. Let alone get an award. I didn't think I thought I was done with Kansas in general. When Sierra and I got married, we argued about where we would move. And I was like, I want to go to seminary. So I went to Pittsburgh and then Oregon. I was like, there's no way we're going back to Kansas. We had a kid, and then I was like, having some parents to help take care of a child is great. And so we wound up moving back. And we've had a great time being back, and have been blessed to be back in this community. I would say I never thought that I would be receiving an award. I never thought I'd be coming back. I thought my Bethel days were kind of done. I think what really kind of moved me back here was my work within the Mennonite Church, and that kept that connection, right? And so when I started pastoring Salem Mennonite Church in Salem, Oregon, I remember I was one of the few Bethel students there. Everyone else went to Goshen or EMU, and so I was riding with the Threshers. So I would definitely pick a lot of arguments about how Bethel was better. And so so my connection with Bethel stayed strong through that. And there's some Bethel folks who, Marlene Bogard, who taught me, led my intro to youth ministry class. She was in that church as well, so kind of kept me connected. Anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett says. Y'all will not understand that reference. I'm sorry. Yeah. So anything's possible, right? If you may not see yourself here, then one day you might wind up here. You may see yourself leaving Kansas forever. You wind up working here. Like, it's just the way Bethel sometimes can pull you back. And I say embrace that. Don't run from that. Embrace that, because good things can happen. So.
Believe it or not, we are out of time for questions. While the Convo scanners come to the front to dismiss, please join me in thanking Jerrell one more time.